Betrayal doesn't arrive with a warning, it sneaks in quietly, dismantling everything you thought was secure. That's exactly how it happened to me. My friend stole my husband, and I couldn't help myself. Claire and I had been friends for over a decade. We met in college, bonding over late-night study sessions and shared dreams of a bright future. She was the kind of friend who could finish my sentences and who knew all my secrets, the good and the bad. When I married James, Claire was my maid of honor, standing beside me with tears in her eyes as I said, "I do." Life was good, or so I thought. James and I had been married for 7 years. We had 2 children, a cozy home, and the kind of routine life that many people dream of. Claire was a constant presence in our lives, often stopping by for dinner or tagging along on family outings. I loved having her around, and James seemed to enjoy her company too. I didn't notice the signs at first. Maybe I didn't want to. Claire started dressing a little differently, more provocatively, whenever she came over. James would light up in her presence, laughing a little too loudly at her jokes. And then, there were the whispers. The moments when I walked into a room and both of them would fall silent. Still, I brushed it all aside. Claire was my best friend, and James was my husband. There was no way they would betray me. The truth unraveled one cold December evening. I was at the grocery store picking up last-minute items for a dinner party when I realized I'd forgotten my wallet. I rushed home, only to find Claire's car parked in the driveway. That wasn't unusual. She often stopped by unannounced. What was unusual was the sight that greeted me when I walked into the house. James and Claire were in the living room, locked in an embrace that left no room for interpretation. My world shattered in that instant. "What are you doing?" I managed to choke out. They jumped apart, guilt written all over their faces. Claire tried to stammer out an apology, but I couldn't bear to hear it. James just stood there, silent and shamefaced. The days that followed were a blur of anger, heartbreak, and disbelief. I ended my marriage. There was no salvaging it after such a betrayal. As for Claire, I cut her out of my life completely. Losing my best friend and my husband in one fell swoop was devastating, but I knew I deserved better. In the months that followed, I focused on rebuilding my life. I leaned on other friends and family, people who showed me what real love and loyalty looked like. I threw myself into my work, found solace in therapy, and rediscovered passions I had long neglected. 1 year later, I stood on my own 2 feet, stronger than I had ever been. The pain of betrayal lingered, but it no longer defined me. I learned that even in the face of heartbreak, there is power in starting over. Claire and James, they didn't last. The relationship built on lies and deceit eventually crumbled. I learned that I am resilient, that I deserve respect and love, and that I can create a beautiful life even after my heart has been broken. And so, I did.